Alright, what's going on, guys? How's life? How's the middle of the weekend going? Hope all is going well. So kind of like I said near the end of the last stream yesterday, I was going to attempt to just start watching videos like a lot of other streamers do. Just take it easy. And one video that I love to rewatch, it's just so interesting. I feel like I learn something new every time I rewatch it. And it's, of course, it may not be up everyone's alley. I just think personally, I find it very interesting. It is the history of the Lego Star Wars world records. And this will be commentated by Summoning Salt. I have linked the video we'll be watching in the description. And then for like the last hour, whatever, however long we have, I will just see what else comes to be. But yeah, this time around I do have this video in the description, but anything else is kind of just gonna be on the fly. So hope you guys will enjoy it. We need watch parties here. Sweet Scav. I do have my YouTube chat working on another monitor. I have it super shittily brought over to my TV to where I can quickly post links. If I watch another video, I can throw it up real quick in the chat, just because it's hard to do on my phone since it's not connected to anything. But yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll play it from the I'll play it to the 12-minute mark, about 13, because a lot of these tricks that he shows I've actually tried. So yeah, updating on the emulation side, I was able to connect my controller by Bluetooth. What? This phone is a dedicated Game Boy machine. That's so cool. I mean, you can also see if your mom will let you buy the GBA emulator on her phone. I think it's like 99 cents. Then you can really just download any game that's only like a megabyte at that when it comes to size, and then you actually have the real controls. But I mean, a controller just might even be better, because it is kind of wonky using the touchscreen as controls. But I mean, just if you wanted them fully downloaded. But either way, that's still cool that you can do that. It's super cool that you've taken the time to do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this. I might pause the video here and there to possibly explain something that may have happened too fast. Or if I have any side commentary, I might pause it and kind of brief it. Though when I do watch reaction videos, I hate it when people pause too much. If I pause too much and if people are just like, shut the hell up, I'm interested more in the video than what you have to say. Just tell me. Just tell me, because this is my first time ever really doing like a react type of thing. So just let me know, guys. Just be honest. Like, if y'all are just like, shut the hell up, just tell me. I'm not gonna get upset. I was trying the PS1 stuff, but it's not stable. Shoot. That's not a bad idea though. I could actually understand you trying that, because it said we were able to play it online. Display capture, I'll keep it to like a pretty minimum volume, hopefully. And of course, this is all by Summoning Salt. None of this is my personal content.
Having these two upgrades across much of the run
Got
saves
no problems, faux show.
And when combined with better execution of other tricks, allowed TSG to take the record under 3 hours and 30 minutes.
And of course, feel free to comment
New
as the whole video goes, Gav. I got no problems.
And in late 2016,
no need to be silent through the whole thing.
One of the most obvious oversights from the developers was found by a player named Osamnol. On the last level of episode 1, you're supposed to fight Darth Maul by forcing objects
this is the only trick I've been able to do.
But over on the right, there's a lamp. And for some reason, everything below the lamp is considered by the game to be out of bounds. You can stand and jump in any out of bounds area, so it's possible to just jump off the wall to the top of the lamp and across the other side.
Believe it or not, that's actually really hard to do.
As simple as that, you could save 30 seconds. By April 2017, TSG had taken the record to 3 hours and 24 minutes, and with second place more than 7 minutes behind,
3:24, that's
he was
insane.
in full control of the world record.
I say it would take me
However,
like 8 hours
in
minimum
May,
to finish the
a
game.
key rule was lifted. Back in August 2016, the ban on red bricks was lifted. And now, players were allowed to call in the second player. Welcome to the world of one player, two controller strats.
This is where I'd be screwed. I would not be able to compete with the speedrunners using two controllers.
So
for
what's the
one
benefit
player.
of using a second player?
It's just too complex
Well,
for
LEGO
me.
Star Wars was designed to be a two-player game, and some sections can be completed much faster with the second player. In 4-5, for instance, if you have one player, you're supposed to build a cart to go over buttons fast enough before they turn red. But if you're using two players, no need for the cart. There's a couple sets of these buttons in 4-5, and if you skip
probably
using
do
the
that
cart
one.
for both, you save a full minute. However, you're not allowed to have a physical second player to help you out. You have to do everything alone. So, whenever you want to call in player 2, you have to control them both at the same time. It's known as one player, two controllers, or 1P2C. And on PC, there's 3 options for this. You can use 2 controllers.
Fuck that.
You can use 2 parts of the keyboard.
I might be able to pull that.
Or you can use a keyboard and a
That's
controller.
probably what I would do, though.
Most runners nowadays
least I
go
can
with
map
the
it.
keyboard controller method. But in June 2017,
Not a real dispensary.
TSG set a
They're
record
nice.
with
Dude,
the
have it
controller
sweet.
method. The only point TSG used 1P2C in the run was in 4-5, but the
I
community knew
haven't
there
taken
could be
anything since last
applications elsewhere.
Saturday, because that was the day where I started
Less than
feeling
a month
hella
after
sick.
TSG's run, it would be beaten by a new player, Rauschmore.
Roushmore?
He had been a contender for a while, but rapidly improved his personal best in mid-2017 to take the top spot. He too used 1P2C in stage 4-5, and thanks to a couple new strategies in episode 6, pulled ahead for a new world record by 90 seconds. However, TSG was up to the task, and just a week later, he took the record back.
Jesus.
By the end of the year, TSG's time
Guy's
was
fighting
down
for
to
that
3
title.
hours, 19 minutes, and 30 seconds. The 3:19 run had a notable new trick in the first phase of the Darth Vader fight. After dealing 2 hearts of
See,
damage,
I think I've tried this
Darth
before on
Vader
stream
jumps
before. I
around
cannot
and
get
won't
the
knock
skip.
Luke's Stormtrooper helmet off. You can then use R2 to precisely land on the white part of the panel, then fly and avoid
Oh,
a
the
death
white
plane
part.
to barely make it
That's
to the
why
other
I was going to
side.
the black part.
Once there, you activate a platform for Luke and open the door with the Stormtrooper helmet to skip nearly the entire fight. The trick, nicknamed DV1, saves 45 seconds and was discovered by a runner named Zolis. When combined with DV3, it was
Yeah,
quite
to do that
evident that stage
precise
5-5
jump. I haven't done that one
was
either. That
becoming
one's
the
tough.
most
I've tried
critical
it.
point of the run. Speaking of Zolis, he would set the game's next record, a 3:16.12. He implemented 1P2C across the run more. Some were small time saves, like deflecting shots so that R4 could
Oh, that's
safely
smart.
activate the panel in 2-2, and others were more substantial. In 4-5, you could now use Chewbacca to activate the elevator and ride it immediately, instead of having to use Han Solo and wait for its second cycle.
Oh, I
A
get
time
it.
save of about 12 seconds. But interestingly, Zolis played the game on Wii. We know from before
This is where
that
it gets
this is slower than
crazy
the
for
PC
him.
version, but there's another consideration to be made.
The controls,
The
dude.
Wii version requires using both the Wii Remote and the nunchuck.
Look at this.
So to do one
This man's
P2C,
juggling controllers.
You need to juggle 4 controllers at once.
That's
Still,
insane.
Zolis was able to pull it off, with a world record by over 3 minutes. TSG followed this up a few months later with a 3:14.28. It was notable for implementing yet another trick into level 5-5. DV1 and DV3 already had skips, and now, Darth Vader's 4th form did as well. It was possible to do a couple of precise double jumps, and skip having to use the Force and having to use R2. They have the potential to save about 7 seconds, and just added to the skill needed in 5-5. Episode 5 as a whole was becoming really brutal, and since it has the longest end cutscene, it had to be at the very end of the run. So let's take a look at our timeline so far. TSG started dominating in mid-2016, and although he twice lost the record to Rauschmore and Zolas, he'd always been able to fight back. 2 years later, his name was still on top of the leaderboard. But TSG's 314 from June 2018 would be the last record he would ever set. The game was about to enter a new era, because in October 2018, Rauschmore did this.
Guy really set 4 damn records back to back.
Over the span of just 3 weeks, Rauschmore took the record from a 314 down to a 309. The key was the rapid discovery of new tricks by a runner named L-Tree. Tricks that would save up to 8 minutes. And the first one is really stupid. In 6-5, killing the Emperor normally takes a substantial amount of time. However, if you lure him over to the corner and die intentionally,
I don't know if I could pull this off. I could definitely try
him off the
sometime.
edge. It skips the remainder of the fight and saves 45 seconds. Later, it was discovered you could push him off at the start of the fight by calling in player 2.
Yeah,
This
see, but
saves
I don't.
an additional minute.
I'm not
and
trying
is
to do
known
that
as
part.
The ultra kill.
I don't want to
Another
deal with
simple
a
ball
player
skip
2.
was found in 4-3. You can skip the spy fight by using the force on R2. This pushes him past the trigger to start the fight, and if you call him in after, you can just go in the open door and save about 50 seconds.
Yeah, you just skip
But
the
the
damn Imperial
real
Spy
big time
fight.
save was in 6-3. In this level, you're supposed to hop in your speeder and drive through the roughly 5-minute course. Instead, if you go into the corner of the end barrier with both players, player 1 gets placed above player 2, and you can do a 360 to make it over the barrier.
I think that's a
This
180.
activates the end of the course, and you can skip the entire thing to save several minutes. These discoveries helped lead to 4 consecutive records from Rauschmore. His 4th and final time, a 309 from October 2018, would be the final record set in the year. But interestingly, as the record stayed put at 309, the run started to get massive views on YouTube. It went semi-viral, and many people who saw the video thought it could be fun to try running it themselves.
It does look fun to
And
try,
largely
but
thanks to Rauschmore's video,
the time has
by
gone
early
so low.
2019, there was a new crop of runners
I could
ready to
never
gun
even
for the world record.
attempt.
In 5th place, there was Senor with a 3:11:37. In 4th place, there was Wii Super with a 3:10:45. In 3rd place, there was Osamnol with a 3:10:06. And in 2nd place, there was Shred with a 3:09:54. All 4 runners were closing in on Rauschmore's record, and it was obvious that one of them would beat it soon. The general consensus for the favorite to do so was Osamnol, but all 4 of them had a shot at it. And then, one of them
Damn, they're all
broke
like
through.
2 to 3 minutes away each.
On February 11th, 2019, Senor jumped straight from 5th to 1st place to capture his first world record. He lowered his personal best by nearly 2.5 minutes in the process. Senor had gotten into the game after seeing Rauschmore's video, and although he lowered his time quickly, he was comfortably behind the other record contenders. But the key to Senor getting this record was 1P2C. He used it all over the run. He used it for multitasking, he used it to get one player in position while the other player built, he used it to push characters further ahead.
He's all pushing
These were
R4.
small time saves on their own, but they added up when used across a 3-hour
I
run.
guess so, shit.
This was also the first run to use the incredibly difficult disco skip in 6-2. After building the speaker, you then try and position Luke so he's exactly 50% inside of the speaker once it's finished being built. The game doesn't know what to do when you're inside a built object, so if you're next to a wall, it will sometimes push
clips you
through
out.
it, meaning you can go out of bounds and skip building the disco party to save 40
Jesus.
seconds. This is a really precise trick, since you have to be positioned just right to clip out
Yeah, I
of
was like,
bounds.
if you get pushed out into
But
the
if you
void,
miss
who
it,
knows what'll happen?
You can just break the speaker and build it to try again. With all the competition from top runners, people didn't expect Senor's record to last long. But it would only last for 3 days. On Valentine's Day 2019, Shred took the record with a 3:06.27. Shred had been running the game for over a year, but only became a serious record contender early in 2019. And his record was an improvement by nearly 3 minutes, which was especially impressive given that it was played on a Wii. It didn't do much new over Senor's record, but was better executed. It had a first try ultra kill and a cleaner episode 6 overall. Senor fired back just 3 days later with another 2-minute record improvement.
3 days later.
The world record was now down to a 3:04, but it still had some significant slowdowns. Senor lost nearly a minute on disco skip, and over 30 seconds in 5-5 from missing the DV skips. So clean up those tricks, save a bit elsewhere, and add in a couple new strategies. And suddenly, sub 3 didn't seem out of the question.
Sub 3
March
hours?
2019, 2 runners started to pull ahead from the rest of the pack. Senor and Wii Super. Both of these guys had only gotten into the game in the last few months, but they lowered their times side by side and got good quickly. They raced each other
Super's like a minute
frequently,
away.
and although Senor was slightly ahead on the leaderboard, Wii Super was never far behind. As March progressed, these two made it clear. They both wanted to make a push for the world's first sub 3. It was barely in the realm of possibility.
No way.
But with the two of them pushing each other, a sub 3 hour run started to feel more real than ever.
Epic montage. Let's switch to him and skip over the Trigger Jedi training room, save 70 seconds, found by Senor. I think I actually watched his video before I came across this one. But then that was what recommended this video at one point. It's a 50-50 chance between those two. I'd say Senor gets it. I can't remember. I'm gonna go to the moon soon. Nice, nice. I thought about taking one too, but I was like, I'll wait until I get fully healthy again before I do anything like that. Just in case. Just in case if that fucks me up. And then I get back to my sick days again. Damn that jump.
The world's first sub 3. Senor had skipped
Senor,
straight
nice.
over 259 to a 258.50. His run was roughly even through episode 6, but he saved some time later over mistakes and slowdowns in his last PB. And at the end of the run, he still had to execute tricks like hut skip and DV3. It was an intense situation, but he was able to clutch them out.
I mean, you
and
can
get the
make your
first
own,
sub
just if you
3.
buy the J's, just take the
Interesting.
weed out and then just make your own
About
eddies.
half an hour before the end of Senor's run, Wii Super started a run of his own. And this run would finish as a 259.04.
Damn, so it was still sub
world's
3.
Second sub 3. Had Wii Super started his run just a few hours earlier, he would have won the race to sub 3. But instead, he had to settle for second place, while Senor got the glory. But Senor's record wouldn't last long. He beat his own run by 43 seconds just a day later. This run was notable for introducing a piece of RNG. In 4-4, there's a section where Obi-Wan is supposed to appear across the room on a bridge after you arrive. The way the game tries to get him there is by running through a room with barrels. If he gets stuck behind a barrel, the game turns him to try and get around them, which slows him down, but he still eventually arrives on the bridge. Usually. Sometimes he gets stuck.
That would be
And
my
if
luck
that
right
happens,
there.
He never shows up, and you can't progress through the level. LEGO Star Wars is a broken game. Now, runners used to have a way around this. You reload the bridge room by entering and exiting the previous room, which guarantees Obi-Wan will show up for a 2-second time loss. But players
2-second time loss isn't too
4-4
bad, but
cutscene skip.
when
By
people are
jumping
trying
off of
to
this ledge,
everything,
you can
they
hook
can.
back and enter an out-of-bounds area to skip to the next room.
Jesus.
This means a cutscene doesn't play and you save 18 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
However,
Just the Jason,
as a
just because
consequence
lazy
of the
for
cutscene
sure.
not playing, you can no longer reload the
I mean,
bridge
smoking
room,
doesn't do anything
since
for
you
me,
wouldn't
so
be
that's
able
what I would have
leave
to
the
do.
previous room if you enter it. So, Obi-Wan RNG was back into play. If he didn't want to show up,
And trust
you were in
Jinx, he
big
has
trouble.
smoked. He's bought a.
A couple weeks later,
Let me
a
pause
fair-
this. I've literally bought a 5-pack of Willie Nelson brand, like joints. I smoked the whole 5-pack. Nothing happened. So, people have just told me either I have such a high tolerance, I need to make one of those like Cheech and Chong size joints. That's like the size of their car in the old movie, or just take out the weed and then make my own eddies. Which, if that's the case, then I'm gonna be super precise because I've done lots of formulation in the past. It just would feel unethical for me to just take a handful, chuck it in a damn thing of chocolate and then mix it up and make brownies that way. Like, I'd be making sure like this much has whatever grams, this has 5 grams, this has 10 grams. Like, I'd be very precise. That's just how I work now. It's in my brain just to be like that.
fairly substantial change was made. The community decided to alter the way runs were timed. Instead of starting when the players gained control in 1-1, it would now begin when selecting New Game on the main menu.
That sucks,
This was
because that's going to
mostly
add
done so that
time.
movement in the cantina would be considered in the final time. It added roughly 58 seconds to all runs. So,
A minute.
when Senor set a record that would have been 2:57.36 under the old timing, it was retimed to 2:58.34. And that made it 4 consecutive records for Senor. He was the first to sub 3, and now he
Gotta
was
be so
taking
focused for some of these
control
speedruns. That's what I'm
of the board.
saying.
And for Wii Super,
It's like in
he
my
just
ass tried,
couldn't
it'd be like
catch up.
8 to 12 hours
He
minimum.
perpetually remained slightly behind Senor, easily in
And
second
you gotta remember,
place,
all these people are
but
using
ever
2
since he
forms of
missed his
controls
chance at the first sub 3
throughout
the
pretty much
world
the whole
record eluded
thing.
him. But after the 2:58.34, Senor announced that he would be taking a break from the category to focus his efforts elsewhere. Maybe this was the chance Wii Super needed. With Senor at least temporarily out of the picture, he could hone in on improving his time without needing to compete with anyone. And as it turns out, just 2 days later,
2 goddamn days
it was only
later.
record by a second, but Wii Super had finally overtaken Senor. It was a run with a great early game, but he lost some time on Speeder Skip and had a weak episode 4. Still, Wii Super had broken through. Was this a one-time deal, or was he about to make something more out of it? 6 days later, a 60-second
Oof.
record improvement by Wii Super, largely due to saving time in episode 4. The very next day, another minute and a half world record.
Oh my god.
3 weeks later, 2 record improvements on the same day.
So
3
that's like
days
5
later,
records?
A record cut by nearly 2 full minutes.
6?
Then Wii Super took a break.
Okay.
And when he came back, another world record.
Son of a bitch. That's like 7,
records over
yes.
the course of 3 months for Wii Super. The final one was a time of 2:53.04. After a while, Senor had come back to attempts, but this time
He's making use of level exploits.
He was the one who
places
couldn't
faster.
catch
Yeah,
up
for
to Wii
real.
Super.
But a lot of them
The
you
way
have
he
to
went
use
on this
2
run
controllers.
was
That's
through
where I'd get
improving his
screwed.
own skills and utilizing new strategies. In 2-6, Wii Super began using Dooku Skip. By standing on a barrel, you can force it with player 2 and clip under the floor. By then dropping out with the inbounds player,
Just walk
you can lead
underneath
them
and skip a
forward past the
cutscene?
trigger for the Dooku fight and enter the
Oh, it
next
just skips an
room.
entire fight.
The trick was found by Senor and saves up to 30 seconds.
That's crazy. See,
Wii
I couldn't even
Super
finish
also
those fights
began using
in
the
30
vehicle
seconds.
smart
I don't know
on
how
Red
they
Brick.
did it before.
It allows you to hold the special button in ship levels and make everything on screen explode, which can
Oh, yeah, 'cause
save
they
you
allow
about
red
20
bricks
seconds
now.
in 5-1. And interestingly, with these new tricks being incorporated and runners' skill levels improving, someone new moved into second place, Chimkin. He had been in third place for months, even being a part of the initial sub-3 grind, but he always remained behind Wii Super and Senor. But he was improving, and by May, he was ahead of Senor. And sure enough, when Wii Super woke up on the morning of July 6th, his record was gone.
Damn, someone
Chimkin
got
had
it.
beaten it by
Chimkin?
over a minute, getting a 2:52 flat.
Damn, good for him.
It was a
Or
run
her.
with a slow early game,
Most
but
likely,
after
yeah.
a gold split in 3-2, he was off to the races. He pulled ahead of the record and crushed it. So, Wii Super had to get back to work. And it took him 13 hours to get the record
13
back.
out, not even a day.
Over the coming weeks and months, Wii
Somebody
Super
gave him a
and
call.
Chimkin
It
would
was like,
trade
yo,
the
your shit
record
got
back and
taken.
forth.
He's like, alright, give me a minute.
Wii Super was the first to take it under 250, with a 2:49.55 on July 17th.
Oh my god.
Chimkin would get the next record, and by the end of the year, it was down to 2:45.39.
So these two are
How
just
did
fighting
these
for the
two take the
record.
record down by 7 minutes? Well, there was a new red brick,
Dude, this guy do
Fast Force,
videos of
which
other game
does what it
speedruns.
sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
It lets you
On the right of
force
my screen
objects
where I'm
faster.
hovering, he's got one of
To
Halo
obtain it
2.
quicker, Chimkin
Of the
found a
history of
method
Halo
going
2.
out of bounds,
He's got, like,
then
Mario.
doing a death warp to get back on track.
So yeah, like I definitely
It's
recommend his
unlocked in
channel.
4-2.
I mean, I'm always happy
So
to react to
players
these
started
too
playing
because
episode
they're so
4
interesting to
earlier
me.
in the run so they could use Fast Force in episode 6, 3, and 5.
Oh, that's
And
smart.
of course, there were a plethora of new strategies discovered in the second
Look at
half
that!
of
He just went through the
2019.
wall.
Some were small and saved a few seconds, while others saved closer to half a minute.
Calls
But
in player
big
2 at the
one
perfect
was
time.
in 5-6. It's the last stage in the game, and it had an evolution of skips over the years.
I've done this before. I've done
Way
this on
back during
stream.
TSG's record reign, runners started doing a trick called best spin out of bounds.
I did it one time. It's
You
tough
jump
as hell.
off a ledge to land out of bounds, and progress forward in the stage to skip having to build C-3PO and open a door.
Yep, I did that
It
one
saved
time. It's hard as
45
hell.
seconds, but was immensely difficult. Players used this trick for years, but in December 2019, Senor found something better. You join with player 2 and put Lando in a doorway. If player 1 stands far enough away and Lando jumps, the door will close. If it closes while you're at the top of your jump, you'll get pushed through the door frame and out of bounds. Ultimately, you can get to the same room as you did from Bespin out of bounds, but it allows you to do so nearly a full minute faster, and is much easier. The only problem is that if you miss the
same
door
here,
clip initially,
because then that's what
AI
makes me come back to their
characters can randomly
channel.
run near the door and prevent it from closing, so you really want to get the trick first try. With all these time saves combined, and runners still improving their skills on top of that, the world record was down to a really solid 245.
It's like free documentary content.
It
That's
was
what I'm
enough for
saying.
Wii Super to take a break from grinding the category, and Chimkin had stopped playing it as well.
Damn.
Other than those two, nobody had a PB under 2 hours and 50 minutes. But over the coming weeks in late 2019 and early 2020, the game would get a huge boost in popularity, thanks to an unlikely source: TikTok. There was a big wave of nostalgia for LEGO Star Wars. Millions played it while growing up, and after years had passed, they looked back on the game fondly. A trend began on TikTok where people changed their profile pics to mimic how they look in LEGO Star Wars, with a green or blue circle around them.
Okay, so I gotta pause there. Is that like a true thing? Because I don't have TikTok, I would never know. However, I have seen like the medias that I go to, people actually just use the pictures of like LEGO Star Wars characters as their avatar, like the Yoda one that we just saw. A lot of the ones I've seen, I've seen people use like the Royal Guard. It's just like, I mean, he's saying that people were like using the picture mimicking how they look from in-game to this. I don't know if they were like using, say, Obi-Wan, if they kind of looked like Lego Obi-Wan, or if they had a real picture of themselves and then just had the background like that. I don't know. In my experience, the only form of trend that I've seen like that is people actually just using random ass Lego characters from Lego Star Wars like that. Like, I've seen people use the Droideka. I've seen people use like Darth Sidious. So I mean, to me it's just, I don't know if that's how they look. God, I hope nobody looks like Darth Sidious. But yeah, in my experience, that's just how that kind of trend he's sort of explaining, that's how I've seen it. I don't know how it would be on TikTok, but I don't know.
This increased the game's popularity on the internet as a whole, as people remembered LEGO Star Wars and wanted to experience it again. As such, speedrun streams and videos exploded in popularity, and starting in early 2020, there was a new wave of speedrun activity.
I was like, the top 5 world record
and suddenly,
contestants were probably sweating.
Had new competitors on
once they saw the other competitors coming.
In second place was T-Fresh, and in third place was Led Astray. Both had a time of 2:47, and both had aspirations for the world record. Wii Super had no choice but to do more runs if he wanted to defend his title. So he did. And in the span of just 1 week, he lowered the record twice, taking it down to 2:44.30. But this wasn't the complete domination that he'd had earlier. His competition continued to close in. Led Astray got a 2:46, and a familiar face had actually jumped into second place. Senor.
Yeah.
The pressure was on for Wii Super. These guys were both capable of getting the record, and could really obtain it any day now. Wii Super continued to do runs.
Those iceberg videos because of the documentary.
And a couple weeks later,
long-form
he
deep dive
achieved
videos.
a run
Yeah, they're
that
just
put
so
away
chill.
any competition for the record.
Like they're almost relaxing in a way.
All led up to this moment. It was his ultimate run. Throughout the first 4 episodes, there were no significant mistakes. He gained a bit of time on nearly every level, and leaving episode 6, he was nearly 2 minutes ahead.
Something all he had to do was episode 5.
The final 2 episodes are 3 and 5, and although they weren't perfect, they were good enough. And when combined with the incredible start he'd had, the end result was a monster world record. Wii Super wasn't at much risk of losing his title anymore. Or was he? Senor wasn't deterred from the task at hand. Wii Super was now 3 minutes ahead, but Senor knew he could close the gap.
3 minutes, that's so much for a world record with a timing is so tight.
And on the 31st, he shaved another half minute off. Despite the optimization of Wii Super's record, Senor was actually able to close in. These two guys were ahead of the pack. Just like the initial sub 3 grind, Wii Super and Senor were locked in a battle. Thanks to the game's boost in popularity around this time, the community decided to have a LEGO Star Wars speedrun tournament. Wii Super, Senor,
I bet that would be pretty
and
fun,
most
though.
of the game's other top runners all participated. It was a double elimination tournament, and there were some great times put up by several different runners.
Super Fin and
when all was said and done,
name to Switch
after
Super,
the brackets
yeah.
were completed, who else
or whatever
would
the
meet in
Switch 2 is going to be
finals
called.
but Wii Super and Senor?
I say maybe
These
the
two would
Super
get the benefit
Switch is
of
what
a
it'll
big
be
new
called.
strategy discovered a few weeks ago in 6-1.
Like how there's Nintendo and then Super Nintendo.
By using a forcible object, you could clip into the wall, which was faster than the old method of using the spider.
Jesus.
You can then come back in bounds to touch a grate, which acts as a trigger.
Oh my god, so that just clips you
straight to
into the final
boss
fight on the level? Son of a
This trick
bitch.
saved a full 60 seconds. A huge advantage for any runner who could pull it off.
That's so crazy to hear.
Up to this point,
hold on. That is so crazy to hear that just completing that room, doing the rest of the level will evidently save you 60 seconds. Doing that puzzle in general, I swear to God, would take me at the bare minimum, if I even knew what I was doing, 3 minutes tops. But if I'm just playing averagely, I'm saying that room would take me about 5 to 6 minutes. I swear to God. So for him to say that that completing that room and then the room past that will save the player 60 seconds is insane to me. How fast some of these guys are going.
Senor had lost one match while
It's actually a big theory some Nintendo insiders have a Switch 2 called the Nintendo Super Switch. That would be a very nice name for it. Hopefully it's nothing stupid as hell. Like they just completely changed the name of it. I hope they don't. The Switch is actually a very minimal and catchy name for it.
Super was undefeated. So to win the whole thing, Senor needed to win twice, while Wii Super needed just one win. And Senor handily won the first game. Wii Super accidentally soft-locked in 5-1, losing several minutes and allowing Senor to cruise to
How do you
an
get
easy
soft-locked?
victory. That meant there would be a winner-take-all match the next day to determine the tournament champion.
Hold on, did he say how he got soft-locked?
This picked one win. And Senor handily won the first game. Wii Super accidentally soft-locked in 5-1, losing several minutes and allowing Senor to cruise to an easy victory.
I didn't say how he got
That meant
soft-locked. I mean,
there
that
would be
sucks,
a
though.
winner-take-all match the next day to determine the tournament
It
champion.
doesn't mean Senor got hella lucky,
This
though.
was going to be a tough task for Senor. Think of all he had going against him.
Soft-lock rip. I know,
His
it's like
personal
over
best
2.5
was nearly a
hours just
minute
wasted.
behind Wii Super. He had lost to him earlier in the tournament, and he had gotten a pretty lucky victory yesterday thanks to a fluke softlock. He was going to need to play out of his mind if he wanted to win this thing. And so, on April 19th, 2020, in the final match of the tournament, with his opponent heavily favored to win,
Damn, he got the record back.
this was Senor's first world record in
Almost
over
a
a
240.
year, back when the run was 16 minutes slower. And it was actually a close race through much of the run, but Senor eventually pulled ahead. And although Wii Super finished with a 242, he didn't stand a chance. Senor won the match, he won the tournament, and he got the world record. And the race to sub 240 was officially
Senor, I
on.
know. These two are, like, they go at it. Like,
Once again,
It's like
Senor
back-to-back.
and Wii
Stop
Super were
barking.
the two competitors. As it turns out, Senor's time at the top wouldn't last long. Wii Super wanted the record back, and it took him just 5 days to do so. He got a 240.32. This run was actually on sub 240 pace until 5-5. But the last two stages of the run are
hold on, y'all. My dog's barking. I'm gonna go
Wii Super
see
lost
what the
a
issue
lot
is
of
with my
time to
fucking
DV3
axe.
at 5-5.
If I don't come back,
and to
just assume I was
Door
killed.
Clip in 5-6. Sub 240 would have to wait. Wii Super lost 45 seconds to Door Clip, and missed sub 240 by just 4 seconds. It's a great example of how tough the end of the run is. Door Clip is in the very last stage, and if you miss it initially, bad luck can make you lose the record. Over the following few weeks, competition caught up. A couple runners named Pickle Toe and Ginger Legend got times in the 2:41 range, increasing the pressure on Wii Super. And on July 14th, Senor had a run on sub 240 pace into 5-6. But once again, Doorclip killed it. He ended up 1 second behind the world record. Wii Super had waited too long. Other players had caught up, and it was a dead heat for the first sub 240. But on July 22nd, Wii Super had a run with a fantastic first few episodes. He then lost his helmet in 4-5, but a great episode 6 put him back in the lead. He had a rough 5-5, but with time to save in 5-6, sub 240 was still possible. He got Doorclip quickly and left just enough room to get a sub 240. 2:39.49. Wii Super had won the race. This was Wii Super's 22nd world record. He'd faced competition from some of the best in the world, but time and time again, he had proven he could come out on top. With his sub 240 goal accomplished, Wii Super finally felt he could take a break. And the runners in second through fourth
I'm gonna back up like a minute or two.
Senor, Pickle, great episode 6 put him back in the lead.
I didn't see anything out there.
5-5,
no tracks in the snow, so
time to save in 5-6,
if she starts barking again, I'll let her outside or something.
He got Doorclip quickly and left
I was killed,
just
I know.
room to
I'm
get
Jinx's
sub
ghost.
2:39.49. Wii Super had won the race. This
Also,
was
Wii Super took it
Super's
back.
22nd
Damn.
world
3
record.
times.
He'd faced competition from some of the best in the world, but time and time again, he had proven he could come out on top. With his sub 240 goal accomplished, Wii Super
240, that's
finally
insane,
felt he could
dude.
take a break. And the runners in second through fourth place, Senor, Pickle Toe, and Ginger Legend, had lost
We got 2 new
motivation
names
after
in,
being
okay.
beaten to the first sub 240. So, they all stopped running the category as well. For the first time in many months, there was little activity at the top of the leaderboard. That meant there was technically an opportunity for someone outside of the top 4 to
That's where I
swoop in
could
and
have.
make a move.
That's where I could have swooped in.
Let's take a look at who was
course.
in 5th place. This is
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. He had been running the game for about 3 months and managed to quickly enter the game's
Damn,
top
I know.
5.
3 months and he's within the
However,
top 5.
during the sub 240 grind, he was comfortably behind the big 4
It
runners.
would take me like 10 years
He
to get to
wasn't
the top
considered to have a
5.
serious shot at the world record. But with all 4 of them stepping aside, this was his chance. In early August, he stepped into 4th place and lowered his PB down to 2:41.12. And on August 10th, he got on a run where he pulled about 15 seconds ahead of the record by the end of episode 4. There was still a long way to go, but he kept nailing tough tricks. Spiderless in 6-1.
See, look at that. You have to
skip in
drop out as the other
6-3.
player really
A
quickly.
shot at the world record was starting to seem more and more like a reality. He was competing against an incredible episode 3 in the world record, so he bled some time there, but going into the last 2 levels of the run, 5-5 and 5-6, he was only half a minute behind. Time to
not
enter
bad.
the trick gauntlet.
I was like, as long as he could land all the
DV1,
Darth Vader skips.
First try.
Nice.
DV3. He faltered a bit, but got it 5th try.
Okay.
DV4 jumps. Both first try.
Damn, nice.
Finally, Doorclip. 2nd try.
Nice.
This all saved about 40 seconds over the last 2 levels in Wii Super's run. And it was enough for Roadhouse to get a 2:39.
So he got the record then.
He had leapfrogged over Pickle Toe, Senor, and Wii Super to
Damn.
get the world record. There was a new face on top of the leaderboard. Well, Wii Super wasn't going to take this lying down.
Of course he wasn't.
Roadhouse had only beaten him by 6 seconds. Surely it wouldn't be too hard to take the record back. But Wii Super wanted something better. There had been a number of new strategies developed around this
Look
time.
at that. He just pushed him in.
Wii Super knew that if he utilized them all in
And
a
he just,
full
oh my
run,
lord.
he could beat Roadhouse's time by minutes. We won't go over all of these new tricks, but there's 2 particularly big ones. And the first one, well, Lego Star Wars has an ultra shortcut.
I've seen this. I've seen this
Level
in short
1-4
videos.
is the pod
This is
race.
so crazy.
You have to drive around the course 3 times.
And you just
to
go
beat the
light
stage.
speed in this level.
For years, there was no way to really speed this up. Even the fastest world records just drove the 3 laps. But in mid-2020, P53, Havster, and Senor combined to develop a trick called pod fraud. It's a very complicated trick.
Hold up. I do gotta say, like, because people who have, like, followed my content for a while know that I am a pretty good player when it comes to finding glitches or even imitating glitches that I've seen someone else do. I'm pretty good at that stuff, finding them mostly. Imagine you get a group together to find a game-breaking glitch. Like, these 3 people came together one day and were like, we can probably figure something out in this level. It's just, it's unfathomable to me, because there's so many times where I'm like, I see glitch potential and I'm like, I know I can do this, but I don't think I can at the moment. That's how I am at a lot of games, or I will figure out a glitch, whether if it's out of bounds or I soft lock myself, anything like that. But to get people together that are like, we think we can break this level, that's insane. To have to get people together to do that, that's just so crazy. Imagine having a speed run off on Shroomies. That'd be something. I don't know if you could, because when I was playing FNAF Security Breach on my Shroomies, I was just all over the place. Like, I kind of knew where to go, but I was just kind of getting lost in the visuals. And then I got lost. I think I got lost on, like, Roxy's racetrack. That was where I really got lost. And then it wasn't until, like, the end of the stream I figured out where to go. And I was like, fuck, I wasted, like, 2 hours. Just fantastic content. Creator Scav approved. Appreciate it, Scav. I always try.
The gist of it is that the game's only method for checking lap completion is seeing if you've touched an area on the far side of the course, and seeing if you've touched the finish line region. So after driving a lap normally, you go out of bounds with 2 players, leave one by the finish line region, and try to get the other to the far side.
Jesus.
This middle section out of bounds kills you, but it lets you build up speed quickly. So, by dying a few times, you can
look at
build
this,
up
he's
enough
going light
speed
speed.
to make it across. By touching this region, the next lap is activated, and you skip having to drive around. This setup takes about 25 seconds,
Oh my
but a
lord.
lap normally takes about 60, so you save over half a minute.
So he is dying, but he's
The
also
other
completing
big skip
laps.
is called Grieve Cheese, discovered by
Grieve cheese.
Pickletoe with concepts from Fezteo. The general Grievous fight is normally a slow, scripted battle, where you jump around the level and then attack him on the main platform. However, he'll only perform his scripted actions if you're actively standing on this platform. So, you can use Obi-Wan to lure him toward a rock, then jump off the platform and shoot him with player 2 before he walks too far away. By repeating this over and over, you can drain his health without having him ever perform scripted actions.
Nice.
Unfortunately, there's RNG involved. He can randomly block your shots, which wastes time. But ideally, Grieve Cheese can save over half a minute.
I could
With
never
all this
finish
and
that
more,
fight within half a minute.
Super felt that he could crush the current record. And he was right. On September 18th, he beat Roadhouse by just
Oh my
under
God.
2 minutes, getting a 2:37.49.
2 minutes is crazy for how
A few
narrow
weeks
of
later,
time they're
he
trying to
did
save.
it again,
Son
with a
of a bitch.
2:36.08. The leaderboard was back to normal. Wii Super was dominating the competition,
Such a cool concept.
multiple minutes ahead of
Cyborg
anyone
Jedi
else.
Hunter, yeah.
And still,
I do kind of
years
hope we
after
get to
his
see
first world record,
some legends to
nobody
see
could
more of his
catch
people
Wii Super.
before they fucking went extinct
at
from
least
the Empire.
not for a couple weeks.
Or
Just
whoever
16 days after
glassed
Wii
his
Super's
species.
236, E. Roadhouse managed to get the record.
Damn, E. Roadhouse came back.
The key to doing this was yet another complicated new
I'm not
trick.
against Wii Super, but it's like this guy's got so many records that it's like I kind of want other people to beat him just for that.
4 triggers scattered throughout a big room, then killing all the stormtroopers. It's a slow process that gradually raises the Millennium Falcon, so you can eventually enter it and end the level. However, P-53 found a way to end the level early. You first have to load the last room of the level, which can be done by entering this grapple room. You then go back far in the level, and by crossing a particular line, the game tries to save memory by unloading the last room. This means the triggers, stormtroopers, and Millennium Falcon all disappear. The issue is that the game never reloads them once you go back forward. So you re-enter the final room, and nothing's there. Since the stormtroopers are gone, the game treats them the same as if they were killed, so you can jump into where the open door would be, and the level ends.
Damn,
this saves about 1 minute and 15 seconds, and E. Roadhouse's new record was a 2:34:51.
Never forget,
that means
not
that
9/11, never forget Reach.
He still would have beaten Wii Super. Maybe it was a fluke. Whenever someone took the record from Wii Super, he was always quick to respond. But a month later, E. Roadhouse set another record, 2:34:32. This was uncharted territory.
Yeah, that's like a minute and a half more than Wii Super.
A couple weeks later, E. Roadhouse got on a run that was 25 seconds ahead after episode 2. This was the best pace anyone had ever been on that early. He lost a bit of time from missing a clip in 4-2, but managed to improve to 30 seconds ahead leaving episode 4. With one of the greatest ever first halves of a run, he just needed to avoid disaster in the back half to get his 3rd consecutive record. But instead of avoiding a disaster, something else happened. E. Roadhouse went on to play the best episode 6 ever performed.
Damn.
He was now 1 minute and 45 seconds ahead of the record. As you can imagine, the pressure he felt at this point was enormous, and he faltered a bit toward the start of episode 3, losing about 7 seconds in 3-2.
Still not too bad for how up he was.
He followed this up with his best ever 3-5, and leaving episode 3, he was more than 1.5 minutes ahead of the record. It was by far the best chance he had ever had. He had a shot to not just lower the record, but demolish it. But he still had to get through episode 5, the hardest episode in the run, with the toughest tricks all right at the end. But he didn't need a perfect episode 5.
I'll go ahead and say, because everyone's saying that everyone does episode 5 at the very end because the last cutscene is the longest. However, I've always wondered, what if somebody does like episode 5 at an earlier time, so that way they don't have to worry about doing the tricks at the end? Because if so many people mess up all these crazy ass tricks on the final episode, I mean, I feel like if they were to mess them up, then, you know, not only do they not waste as much time if they did it sooner, but it also might balance out for how long the cutscene is for episode 5 compared to somebody fucking up like a bunch of tricks at the end. You know, I just feel like it might balance out, but I don't think anybody does.
He just needed one that was good enough. He had a 90-second cushion. As long as he didn't completely choke, he'd have another record. But with all the pressure mounting, and being on an unthinkable pace, E. Roadhouse didn't have an amazing episode 5.
Damn.
He had the best episode 5 ever.
Yay! Damn, everything is minus 2 minutes. That's so consistent.
This was by far the greatest record the game had ever seen.
I bet they're going to try to go for sub 230.
Skipped 232. He
Damn.
was more than 4 minutes ahead of second place. There was nothing more he could do.
Episode 5
There was
for
nothing
smart.
anyone
Yeah, I
could
mean,
do.
if it would be possible for them.
Roadhouse was the game's new top runner, and it was hard to imagine this record being beaten anytime
Just because I
soon.
feel like the ending cutscene
So,
would
he took a break.
balance out if they were to mess up more
Since
tricks.
nobody else had a personal best below 236, there were no challengers for the record. However, that didn't stop players from continuing to run the game. But the nature of the competition changed. It was now a battle for second place, rather than the world record. About a month after the 231, a new runner moved into second, Ginger Legend. A few days later, he'd be beaten by Senor, hitting a
Fucking Senor came
235
back.
and then a 234. It's important to note that there were very few new strategies
hot
being
tea.
utilized. The vast majority of their time save came from getting better at the game. Fewer mistakes, better movement, that sort of improvement.
Damn, look at that.
By
Gotta use the damn
February,
light to jump
a runner
on.
named Zach achieved a 235, and by March, there was a trio of runners with a 234. Senor in second place, Ginger Legend in third place, and Zach in fourth place. For the first time since he set his mammoth world record, Roadhouse was feeling a bit of pressure. They were still minutes away from his record, but their times were dropping. So, he decided to end his break and go back to record attempts. But he struggled to get good runs going, especially compared to his incredible 231. On March 6th, Senor would once again lower his second place time, 233.05.
He's getting there. He's getting closer.
He was now within 90 seconds of the world record. Roadhouse continued his attempts, but failed to get anything good. And then, on March 9th, Zach got on a run that was even with the world record through episode 2, then actually gained half a minute over the record in episode 4. Once again, this was mostly due to better gameplay rather than new strategies. He ended up losing time to the incredible episodes 6 and 5 in Roadhouse's record, but still finished with a 232.23. Zach was just 35 seconds off the world record. Senor had a 233. Zach had a 232.
So Zach is
and
green.
Roadhouse had a 231.
Now he's like skin color.
All three of them were doing
Caucasian
attempts,
skin color.
and all three of them had potential to get the world record. Roadhouse's time had run out. He was now in direct competition with two strong runners. There was no question the world record was coming down. The question now was, which of these three was going to do it first? Well, on March 22nd, Roadhouse broke through. It was only a 5-second record improvement, but it showed that he still had what it took.
I'm waiting for the first sub 230.
Fantastic early game, but he lost about 45 seconds in episode 6 from repeatedly
he
missing
didn't get the
disco
clip.
skip. Episodes 3 and 5 were up and down, but since his gameplay overall had improved, it was enough to eke out a small record. But his work wasn't done yet. A couple weeks later, Roadhouse got a 231.35. Another small record improvement, but he was making progress while Zach and Senor weren't improving their times. Still, all three runners continued to grind over the following weeks. The end goal had shifted. It was officially a grind for the game's first sub 230. A half-hour barrier hadn't been broken in 2 years. In mid-May, Senor lowered his time down by over half a minute. All three runners were now within 60 seconds of each other. Who would get sub 230 first? Would it be the veteran, the newcomer, or the current world record holder? Well, on May 14th, Roadhouse got on a run with another incredible first couple of episodes. Once again, this was his best pace ever leaving episode 2. He faltered a bit in levels 4-2 and 4-3, so his pace cooled off slightly exiting episode 4. But after episode 6, he was still a minute ahead of the record. It was clear that this would be a golden opportunity for the sub 230.
That's what I'm waiting for.
In episode 3-1, something strange happened. E. Roadhouse was cycling through his splits to see what time saves he had left, and he accidentally paused his timer. He realized this a short while later and unpaused it, but this threw everything off. His pace would now seem better than it really was.
Yeah, like 2-3 minutes better or whatever.
He didn't know how long it was paused, so if this run went all the way, he'd have to retime it to see what he really got. Well, E. Roadhouse made his way through episode 3, and it went beautifully. Episode 5 got off to a great start, and entering 5-5, he was a minute 21 ahead. But of course, his real pace was still a mystery. 5-5 was solid, and 5-6 was nearly perfect.
Jesus.
And when he stopped his splits, they read 2:29:35. E. Roadhouse knew his run was slower than that, but the exact amount wasn't known.
Yeah, he'd have to retime it.
It all came down to how long the timer was paused. So, it had to be retimed.
Someone in the chat said timer pause.
The pause would determine if this was the world's first sub 2:30 or if the race would continue. And after the retime, they found that E. Roadhouse's timer was paused for 21.5 seconds.
I think,
meaning his run was a 2:29:57.
yeah, so he still got the sub 2:30.
By the skin of his teeth, he had done it. His 6th world record in a row was his most important one yet. E. Roadhouse officially had the world's first sub 2:30.
I've watched so far. It was an awesome stream.
In
For
the
sure,
aftermath of
awesome.
this run,
Thank you for hanging
Zach
out,
and Seymour
Scav.
continued doing
Hope you
PB
have a
attempts
great
for a
day
short
/
while.
night. What are we
Both
at? An
players
hour
lowered
and
their times,
08.
but neither could
Yeah, I'll
catch
finish
up
this
to
up and maybe
Roadhouse.
watch something else.
Their motivation had just dried up. It seemed
maybe
like
get
another
2
community
hours.
break would be in order. But you're probably noticing a pattern by now. Whenever community motivation is at a low point, new tricks are always found to bring people back in. And right on cue in May 2021,
Right on cue, he
2
says.
massive tricks were discovered. One of them was a 30-second time save in 3-5 found by Los. But the one we're going to go over
take it easy,
was the one
Scav.
discovered in 5-5. This trick was notable for 2 main reasons.
I wonder if he has a video
For
on
one
history
thing,
of speedrunning
it
and
was
Dead
in the
Rising.
toughest stage of the run.
I'll have to check that later.
5-5 was already a completely
A Dead Rising
broken
speedrun
level.
sounds fun as hell,
You had
actually.
DV1, DV3, and the DV4 jumps. The new trick, fittingly, was called DV2. Every room of the Darth Vader fight now had a skip. And the other notable thing about this trick, it was the most difficult one in the entire game. That's right, the toughest trick of the run was now in a stage that was already considered to be the hardest. This is the insanity of DV2.
No, he doesn't.
You
Doesn't
start
have
by
any
activating
Dead Rising
a moving
videos.
platform outside the boss room, then positioning Luke on a panel beneath it and placing R2 on the platform. When the platform moves down, you can collide into Luke as he's sliding off the panel. If done at the perfect moment, Luke will go through the wall under the floor of the next room, and you can just walk underneath the boss fight. Getting the clip into the wall is so precise that pause buffering is used to help line it up. And even so, every single step of this trick is hard. It's hard to get on the panel, it's hard to stay on the panel, it's hard to pause buffer at the right time, it's hard to line up Luke, it's hard to line up R2, it's hard to avoid going too low in the boss room, it's hard to avoid going too high in the boss room.
Jesus.
Any of these portions not being done correctly results in a miss. But if done properly, it would save an additional 50 seconds. A team of
See, I still couldn't do that fight in 50 seconds.
KO and EJP Man created DV2, and it made stage 5-5 a nightmare. Tough trick after tough trick, right at the end of the run. But with all the time save potential, people had to go for it, and it brought runners Zach and Senor back to doing runs. They each got times of 2:30, and then on June 1st, Senor set the world record. It had a rough episode 6, particularly a slow ultra kill in 6-5, but he got DV2 on his second try. A fantastic result for such a tough trick.
Second try, I couldn't imagine.
Closed it out 20 seconds ahead of the Roadhouse. Seanor's first world record in over a year, back when the run was 12 minutes slower. So now, of the top 3 competitors, only one had yet to get the world record: Zach. He'd been in the top 3 for the past 5 months, even moving into second place on several occasions, but he had never been able to take the top spot. It was frustrating. He knew he was good enough, he'd been on pace before, and he also had a bit of time on his hands coming up. So, Zach decided to start a devoted grind for the record. But this wasn't going to be just any grind. He was going to play the game 14 to 15 hours per day until he set the world record.
No way.
Zach began on his quest, and over the next 2 weeks, he played the game for roughly 200 hours. Run after run, good pace after good pace, and despite all that, he didn't achieve a world record. In fact, he didn't even get a PB. Zach remained in 3rd place, behind
probably because he was just
Roadhouse
pushing
and
himself so
Seymour.
hard.
Disappointing for sure, but Zach would still get another chance. Because on June 13th, runners Zach, Roadhouse, and Wii Super all met up to grind for the world record 12 hours a day, with Senor also participating at home. Only 12 hours may have been less than Zach was used to, but still, 4 of the best runners in the world, 12 hours per day, for 3 days straight. Surely a world record was incoming. But it never happened. 72 hours came and went, with no world records. And here's why. Between all 4 runners, more than 20 world record paces were achieved into the final.
That's you, Roadhouse. He looks pissed.
All of them died.
Oh, it's because he's fucking up.
DV2.
He's fucking up DV2.
It was such a hard
Understandable.
trick, and trying to execute it when feeling the pressure of a record-paced run, good luck with that. So for Zach, a grind of 12-hour days hadn't worked. 14-hour days hadn't worked either. So he had only one remaining option. On June 16th, Zach began a grind of 16-hour days to get the LEGO Star Wars world record.
16-hour days. That's how you build up some followers.
And he never had any runs on record pace.
Shit.
It was starting to seem hopeless. But on June 18th,
You know what?
Zach
Mortal Kombat
finally
Shaolin Monks.
got a
That sounds
run deep
that sounds
ahead of the
very
record.
speedrun
And
fun
what
as well.
a pace it was. Entering 5-5, his best possible time was 2:28.43. That was a good enough pace that he didn't even need to do DV2. He could get the record without it. But Zach was committed to going for it. And on just his 3rd try, he got in the wall. If he could just make it to the end of the room, he'd be in the clear. But disaster struck. He went too low and died.
How? He was
forcing him
right
to
at the
start
door.
DV2 over again.
Oh
He
my.
lost over a minute.
Damn.
Ended up missing the record by just seconds.
Like I'm not saying it's on
Had he
him. Just
skipped
how did it
doing
fail?
DV2, he
I don't
would've
see
had
how
the
he
world
could have
record.
died.
So, Zach kept going. More long attempt sessions, more failed runs. But on June 24th, he'd find himself in an eerily similar situation. A best possible time of 2:28.08 into 5-5. Once again, he could skip DV2 and still get the record. But once again, he was committed to going for it. It was a decision that cost him the record last time. But this time, he hit it first try.
Nice.
He was in a golden position now. He closed out 5-5, got door clip,
nice.
and when Zach entered the Millennium Falcon to end 5-6,
that has to be world record.
he had just set a new world record.
Nice.
over a
2:28.28.
After months of grinding and hundreds of hours of world
Damn.
record
Hope it
attempts,
was worth it.
Zach's efforts were vindicated. This record didn't stop others from trying. Senor, Wii Super,
Those
and
two.
Roadhouse all continued doing record attempts after the in-person meetup. But eventually, their attempts stopped. in large part because 5-5 was such a demoralizing stage. So, throughout the rest of 2021,
Nice.
Zach's time remained at the top of the
All right,
leaderboard.
seems kind of
He
worth
went
it.
from not being able to set the record to holding the top spot for 6 months straight. In early 2022, Zach decided to come back to the game. It had taken him hundreds of attempts and many months of grinding to set his world record. And on top of that, he hadn't seriously ran the category in half a year. So, expectations weren't too high when he started up runs again. But instead of being the underdog like he was in 2021, this was the Zach of 2022.
God damn,
Last year,
nice.
it was a big deal when Zach finally managed a world record. This year, he was unstoppable.
Damn, guy, how come you didn't do those
Roadhouse,
records earlier?
Seymour, Wii Super, none of these guys could catch up.
Wow.
By June, he had taken his time down to 2:27.19. Zach was using even more 1P2C than in previous runs. 4-4 was now being done almost completely with 2 controllers. But once again, most of the time saved from these records
Well,
was
I gotta
Zach
go
playing
potty,
better.
y'alls. Give
Tricks
me
were being done faster.
just a few seconds,
and
I'll be right
execution
back, but I'll keep
overall
the
was
video
improving.
playing.
Improving to the point that nobody could catch him. He was more than a minute ahead of second place. But then, after his 2:27.19, the world record stayed stagnant for over 2 months. This was despite the fact that he lost 30 seconds for missing Dooku skip in 2-6, and lost significant time in 5-1 as well. The community's goal was to achieve a 2:26. It seemed doable, but Zach was unable to, and nobody else was particularly close. The community was as active as ever, but with no records being set, a big opportunity was going to waste. So, in an attempt to get the game a new world record, the community decided to organize one more big event. It was going to be another 4-day break the record session. But instead of the game's top 4 runners competing, this time they expanded it to the top 10. 10 runners, 4 days, and a goal time of 2:26. Even with this many runners, nobody knew for sure if a new record would be set. But one thing that wasn't in doubt was that there would be a lot of movement on the leaderboards. Zach and Roadhouse were in first and second place, and they were the favorites to lower the record. Just behind them were Bacon Soda and Bricko, still with decent odds to get the record, and beyond them was a mix of prior record holders and newer contenders. Their personal bests ranged from Zach's 2:27 down to a 2:33, but all of them knew that they had a serious chance to move up on the leaderboard. Let the world record attempts begin. Zach and Roadhouse may have been in the best positions to lower the record, but 4th place runner Bricko got
Alright,
the
I'm
first
back.
good chance. Just hours into day 1, he had a run with a best possible time of 2:25.46
So got some new names
into
in,
episode
okay.
3. There was still a ways to go, but it was easily on world record pace. Unfortunately, a poor episode 3 cost him the record, but he still got a 2:27.47. This was good enough for
2:27?
second place. It was a
Oh shoot,
big
so they passed
motivator for the rest
the
of
world
the
record.
group,
It's not 28-28 anymore.
especially for the recently demoted to 3rd place Roadhouse. And toward the end of day 1, both he and Zach found themselves on record pace into 5-5. But DV2 would strike again. Roadhouse finished with a 2:28.25, and Zach got a 2:27.45.
Nice.
Zach's time was faster than every runner on the leaderboard, except for his own record. Day 1 had come and gone, and despite movement from some top runners, no new records were set. Day 2 featured a couple PBs from runners in the top 10. Wii Super got a 25-second PB cut, and Senor moved from 5th to 4th place. But for most of the day, none of the top runners got anything on world record pace. Then, late in the night, after most runners were done for the day, Zach had a run with 2:27.11 potential into 5-5. But of course, he still had to get DV2. And he actually did it first try.
Nice.
This was the best chance of the event. He had one tough trick to go, door clip. And unfortunately, he couldn't get it.
Damn.
He lost over 20 seconds and finished with a 2:27.38. The best time of the event so far, but
that's
still no
cool.
world record. Day 3 featured several more promising runs from Zach. He achieved numerous 2:27s, but none were low enough to beat the record. There was a bit of movement from lower ranked runners, as It's Jared moved from 10th to 8th place. But as Day 3 was coming to a close, the record remained at Zach's 2:27.19. Time was starting to run out. The game's top runners had gotten close, but nobody had been able to break through. But then, toward the end of Day 3, those runners would get a bit of extra motivation. With all this attention on LEGO Star Wars speedruns, a new strategy was found in the Grievous fight. Before, Grieve Cheese could be used to get a quick kill, but it was inconsistent as he would randomly block your shots. But by switching your resolution to 800 by 600 instead of 1920 by 1080,
who played it like
the quick
that?
kill becomes much more consistent. On average,
Like, who figured
you
that
save
out?
10 to 15 seconds.
Damn.
This wasn't an enormous time save, but it was enough to give these runners a pretty big boost. Yet still, Day 3 came to a conclusion and no world records were set. 24 hours to go. Through the first 3 days, neither Zach nor Roadhouse had set a PB, but Zach certainly had had the better chances of the two. He set numerous 2:27s, and with the new time save on Grieve Cheese, he was in position to get a record if he could just get there again. But on the evening of Day 4, it was Roadhouse who found himself ahead of the record after episode 6. After utilizing the new strategy and having a nice start to episode 5, he remained in the lead heading into 5-5. This was the level that caused Zach to miss the record so many times in the last 3 days. But Roadhouse clutched it out. He got a first try DV2, and entering 5-6, his best possible time was 2:26.40. Roadhouse was one level away from getting a 2:26. He needed to get door clip. And he did,
Nice.
after wasting about 20 seconds.
Oh.
The run was now teetering on the line of being a 2:26 or a 2:27. And in the end, the run finished as a 2:27.03.
Isn't that world record?
It wasn't a 2:26, but it was a
Nice.
world record. It had taken over 3 days, but the world record had finally been achieved. And interestingly, at the exact same time, Zach was on a run in episode 3. Entering 5-5, this run too had potential to get a 2:26. It was a chance to take the record right back. But his final 2 levels weren't good enough. He finished with a 2:27.07. If he had set this time an hour earlier, it would have been record. But he was too late.
Well, by
And
4
with the
seconds.
event winding down, it was shaping up to be a pretty disappointing few days for Zach. He had done attempts for 4 days straight, and not only was there no 2:26, but he had lost his world record in the process. Runs continued on for the next couple hours, but the event had a hard cutoff of 11 PM to get your last run started. And as the last few seconds before the deadline ticked away, Zach was on the main menu. Maybe he shouldn't even bother starting another run. He had done hundreds of attempts over the past few days, and no 2:26 had come out of it.
Once I'd lost record, I was like, okay, I lost record. I no longer
Oh.
have a streak of records. It is what
Got
it is.
words
That's
from
totally
Zach
fine.
himself.
But I really wanted to win BTR, and I didn't want to go out on the note that I had, which was like multiple choked records in the event in previous days. Obviously, I wanted the record back. Obviously, I wanted to win the event. But getting the first 226 was still like the priority in my mind.
So, with just 8 seconds to go, Zach started his final run of the event. And in doing so, he joined 6 other runners who were in the middle of their own final runs.
And I was like, this run has to finish. There is no world where I reset here, because even if it doesn't PB, I have to get through this run no matter what. Once I started that run, I was like, I know I can do it. I didn't think I would, but I knew I could. During every cutscene, I would be looking at the restream, just seeing who was on a run. And I saw that Ginger was on a really good run. And the reason I noticed this was only because I could hear the commentary. And the commentary was just like losing their minds. They were like, I can't believe that Ginger is like on this insane run right now. And I was like, this must be really good for how much the commentary is talking about it.
Sure enough, it was insane. Ginger was the game's 7th place runner, with a personal best of 2:31.59. But with his back to the wall, at the very end of the event, he had somehow mustered a run on world record pace into episode 5, 4 minutes ahead of his PB.
Ginger has this capability sometimes to just play insane. He's an anomaly. He can sometimes just pull something out that you've never like even thought was possible. And I knew that it was actually a realistic possibility that he would get record and even maybe the first 226 just with that run.
Was this really happening? The 7th place runner jumping straight to world record? Well, Ginger had an up and down last few levels, and he finished with a 2:27.51. An enormous PB, and definitely one to be proud of. But it still wasn't the world record.
Damn.
Meanwhile,
What, fourth
while
place?
all eyes were on Ginger, Zach had started off on an incredible run of his own.
So we typically talk about a good run as exiting. We pay attention to our episode 4 exit. That marks like around the halfway point in the run. Previously, the best episode 4 exit was I think a 109.56. So getting a 109 episode 4 exit was something that had been done I think a total of 3 times ever. And so what happened was I got another 109, and that is something that I wasn't even looking for. You don't need a 109 for a 226. You don't even need a 109 for a 225. And that made me a little nervous.
But what happened next was just plain crazy. On one of the game's greatest paces ever, Zach proceeded to play the best episode 6 ever performed. Now, this was not only the fastest pace ever, it was the fastest pace ever by over a minute. Zach was in position to demolish the world record. He just had to hold it together for the final 2 episodes.
This
The
guy's
run was
face.
pretty much insane. It kind of bled a little bit of time in episode 3 until I got to the infamous library skip. When I got there, I prayed to the gods, and those gods did not give me a first try library skip. They did not give me a second try library skip. They did not even give me a 10th try library skip. So I ended up losing around 55 seconds.
I think
on
I
the
get
trip.
how that's supposed to
Now
work.
at this point, I was like, okay, this is fine. Now I wasn't happy. It's only a minute. Now that might sound like an insane thing to say.
For how
This
much
was
time
such
they're
an
trying to
insane run
squeeze,
that I
though.
could
A minute's
afford
a
a minute
lot.
time loss. So I did lose a minute, and everything was pretty much still in order. I was still way ahead of the record, and out of episode 3, going into episode 5, everything was definitely still set up for me to get a low 226.
Yeah,
It
but
was
he still got
definitely in
the
question.
tricks at the end.
But while Zach was
In
trying
episode
to navigate
5.
through episode 5, the other players were finishing up their runs. And guess what? EJP Man, PB by over a minute. T-Fresh,
Nice.
PB by 18 seconds.
Nice, they're all getting
We
personal
Super,
best.
PB by 40 seconds.
Fuck.
And all of this stuff is happening, and I'm on this run, and I'm like, my mind cannot comprehend everything going on. There's 4 people PBing, and so in my mind, I'm like, it's time to focus. So I close the stream.
With all the other runners finishing, all eyes were back on Zach. He made his way into 5-5, still ahead of the record by close to a minute.
When you're on pace, this level is the killer.
I kind of want to watch
mean,
Empire
it's
Strikes Back
question.
now.
There isn't a level in the game that's even close to this hard. And I get to DB2 skip, and I realize that my hands are shaking. It's very hard to pause buffer while your hands are doing this the whole time. So I have this this thing that I usually tell myself. I'm like, you can be nervous later, but now you have to hit the trick. I get the trick third try, which is effectively my first actual attempt at the trick. DB2 skip definitely, I would say, is a harder trick, but DB3, when the pressure is on, when the nerves are setting in,
that damn jump, I know.
Brutal. So I miss it once, and I'm like, that's fine.
Because
But when I
what
miss
he
it
said
twice,
earlier in the
that's
video,
when
you
I
have
start to get a
3
little
frames to make that
I
jump.
think I missed it 6 times before I finally got it, and at that point, I was like, uh-oh, this is gonna be close. The best spin opening cutscene is over a minute long, and I think that is interesting. You get almost 2 minutes to sit there and be ready, you know, to prepare.
Get to
The whole time,
contemplate
I was
life.
not preparing. I was sitting there, shaking, being nervous out of my mind, and my heart was beating super fast. I could not stop thinking about what was going to happen. I kept telling myself, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and I don't think it was helping.
The toughest trick in 5-6 is door clip. It was a trick that killed many runs over the years. But this run was perhaps more important than any before. Zach made his way through 5-6, and miraculously, he got door clip
Nice.
right away. This was it. He had some
I love how you
leeway,
see him walk
and as
upside
he entered
down.
the last room of the run,
I
he
get
was
how
in
that
position
works,
to
but
get a
it
massive
just looks
record.
funny.
So I enter the end platform, and I look at my timer, and I'm like, I can probably do this. So I get there, and I'm killing the stormtroopers, and it's going a lot worse than it usually does. I should have absolutely been cementing like a low 226 5x here, and I was actually starting to lose a lot more time than I thought. And I took a very bad death. I killed no stormtroopers, it just died, which is just a flat 2 seconds. And I was like, okay, now I'm cutting it really close. So I kill the last guy, I look at it, and I literally just say, please, 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 my God, please. I didn't know what to do besides just pray. I hit the door. I looked at the timer. 2:26:59.
I think that was it.
I was at first in disbelief for about half a second, and then I lost my mind. I could not believe it. I was just so proud of myself to finally get the 226. The amount of emotions running through me were just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
Hell, even a Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest
The
mode sounds pretty
226 was
fun to
incredible.
speedrun.
The culmination of Zach's and others' efforts since the start of the year. But it wasn't the end of the road for LEGO Star Wars speedruns. There was still room for improvement as a lot of time was bled in episodes 3 and 5. So, even in the few months after the event, there's been a lot of record improvements. Just a few days after the event ended, Zach lowered the record by another 21 seconds, largely from cleaning up the final 2 episodes. He'd then lower the record down to the world's first 225, thanks in part to a new strategy in 5-4 by EJP Man. Meanwhile, both E-Roadhouse and Ginger Legend were getting close. E-Roadhouse had a couple runs that barely missed record due to a missed skip, and Ginger Legend had taken his PB down to a mid-226. Of those 3 runners, Zach would have the most success in the following few weeks, ultimately lowering the record to the first 224. But that's not who holds the record today.
What?
That honor goes to E-Roadhouse, a
Okay.
224.43. This record featured a
Well, this
fairly
video is
slow
actually,
first
I see
4
it says,
episodes, but
it
had the
was
strongest
made a
final
year
2
ago.
episodes ever in a
So I
run.
wonder what it is now.
That's where the world record stands today. To most, LEGO Star
I'ma
Wars
look
is
it
a
up
game
right
that you
now.
played 10 years ago for fun, then never touched again. It was a neat distraction, and a source of nostalgia, but in the end, LEGO Star Wars was a game of the past. But to this dedicated group of speedrunners, this game is so much more than that. They've been able to extract thousands of hours of enjoyment, creating rivalries and friendships that have lasted years.
So right now, the current, it's not E-Roadhouse anymore. Second place is Ginger Legend, and first place has gone back to Zach. with 2 hours and 21 minutes and 44 seconds. That's crazy. This was 5 days ago that he got it. So pretty convenient. So the let's say like the top 5, I guess. So Zach currently holds the record right now. Ginger Legends second, E Roadhouse is third, Wii Supers in fourth. I can't read that, it's kind of dark. It's Jared 97, a completely new person, came in fifth, and then sixth is actually Senor. So that's crazy though. That what was the time?
This game is past, but to
A
this
year
day,
ago, it was 224. So within the year that this video's been out, the time has went down by about 3 minutes. That's still pretty crazy.
dedicated group of speedrunners, this game is so much more than that. They've been able to extract thousands of hours of enjoyment, creating rivalries and friendships that have lasted years. They've given the game a renewed boost of popularity, years after its heyday. And over the course of a decade, this is how they've lowered its world record.
Jesus, look at that. I love
Thanks
seeing
for
that
watching.
grid. Nice. All right. What are we at? About almost an hour and 40. I was actually wanting to play just some random game later on. I guess I can kind of stream it. I wanted to play some Red Dead 2. I literally just wanted to cause mayhem. So let's go ahead and do that. It just sounded fun. All I wanted to do is really just push people because I was playing Red Dead 1 earlier, still continuing my playthrough on that, and I was just pushing people. They don't get mad at you. So we'll play some of that right now. Updating the Rockstar Games launcher, even though I played this like a week ago or something. Yeah, see, now I got like inspiration to do speedruns. And the only ones that sound kind of fun to me is like a Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks playthrough. Plays like Liu Kang or Kung Lao or something. Dead Rising. I said earlier Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest. That sounds pretty fun to try to speedrun. And not even for like a world record, but just to try to get through it as fast as humanly possible and have a timer going on it. I feel like that would be really fun. But yeah, those games sound pretty damn fun to attempt to speedrun on. The only game that I've ever really sped ran back to back was Borderlands 2. And that game was so fun to play, but yeah, we'll see what to speedrun some other time. But yeah, Dead Rising sounds kind of fun. I'm gonna have to look up how to maybe time manipulate or something. There's gotta be a way to not have to wait for your next mission. But in the meantime, we'll have some fun in some Red Dead 2. Piss off a couple of people for the next about 20 minutes. Anytime I die, I'll just load up my past save so that way I don't slowly degrade my honor in this game, since I'm set to a pretty high level honor. But an evil playthrough of this, or a low honor playthrough of this, sounds fun to do. Who knows, maybe I'll just get caught up in this game and we'll play this a lot longer than I think I'll play it. I think I actually saw a video that you can actually come across like a vampire in Saint Denis. So that'd be interesting to try, but I think what you have to do is you have to find a bunch of posters throughout the city, and then you have to come across a lot of side dialogue with the citizens that you pass by. This game's taking a little bit longer to load than I thought it would. There we go. Got my horsey. What's happening? So what's the closest town? Valentine. I was gonna say I don't think I'm liked in Valentine, but evidently nobody cares right now. I'm stupid. Let me mark Valentine's, that way I know where to go. I thought about playing... Oh shit! Almost flew off that damn rock. I thought about playing Street Fighter 6 and play through the adventure mode in that, but yeah, Red Dead 2 sounded better. And why is that? Because it is better. I swear, every time I play this game, something different always happens, whether if it's just me causing mayhem to everyone or if I'm just riding around in a random event that I've never encountered happens. I think I did all of the missions for Homegirl up here, but hers were my favorite. Yeah, up here in Willow's Rest, where you like teach that chick to survive because her husband got killed or something. And every time you go back to visit her, she gets like better at survival. It's just like, I think that one was the best side mission for me. It was just super cool to see her advancing every single time. Alright, how's about I save right here? That way I don't have to come back here once I have to like reload. So, do you also, I wonder if you make people suspicious if you walk around with a mask on.
You're not that ugly.
Yeah, someone said I'm not that ugly. Sure I am. Why do you think I don't play with a face cam?
Morning. Morning, partner. Where the heck am I?
Oh god, I see a drunk guy coming towards me. I'll push this guy for fun.
Look where you're going.
Don't care what you do with that mask on, just don't.
I hardly touched you. You look ridiculous.
Just leave it alone, will you?
Even from this distance.
Are you insane? What on earth? Keep away from me! Too scared to let folks see your real face, huh?
Fellers?
Morning, partner.
Who the hell said that? I wonder. Let's try to get somebody to fight me, and then I'll run into the sheriffs. I'll be the victim. Or I'll play the victim.
You think you're tough?
What'd you say to me?
Oh.
Because you look ridiculous.
I'm gonna
Oh shit!
beating your... I ain't stopping till you're dead.
Got here. I've been saying for years you don't send us
Damn.
to catch sinners.
Guy doesn't give a shit that I'm getting my ass kicked.
Look on the wall there.
Let's see if I can get him to hit the sheriff. Oh. The sheriff, oh my god, his reaction was great. Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh, Christ almighty! That line of work, you've seen it all.
Bounty. Ellie Ann Swan.
This ain't for me. Looks like trouble, all right.
Shit!
$25.
That one? They say she's sleeping rough near Cumberland Falls. And what's more, they say she ain't sleeping alone.
Oh,
I got it.
interesting. All right.
We got enough crap around here from the
Might as well try a bounty. Who is that? Got Albert Mason. Oh, yeah, he's the photographer guy. I thought it was the guy who had us do that.
Excuse me, but I need
That dude is still stumbling around trying to slowly come my way.
I fought for you. You know, Mark,
I think I started some reasonable ruckus. Oh. Nope, I ain't nobody's friend.
Giddy up.
How's about I eat something? It's for my horsey. So eat some canned salmon, the real stuff, because I'm sure I'm gonna need it to deal with this bounty. Did it say if they wanted her dead or alive? Apprehending her alive. Okay. Think I can do that. Might as well get my weapons ready as well. Maybe it's that fire. This game is just so damn cool. I really wish they would have DLC for it. Like an Undead Nightmare would be so cool in this, but you just can't beat how lively it feels. I feel like an Undead Nightmare would kind of take away from the game by like every city being zombified. Just every city that you do go to, it just feels like a city. It feels uniquely alive. How much further we got? Getting there.
Buddy! Easy.
The hell did you just say to me?
What was that, you coward?
You trying to start with me?
Shit! Hey there.
You're done for! You're gonna meet your...
Damn, that guy had a lot of health. Can't stand it when people talk shit to me when I just tell them like what's happening, what up.
Whoa now.
Oh, I think I see them. That's them, alright. Okay. Think I see a way that I can go. I need to start utilizing my mask more.
Is that all?
Oh, someone else is right there. Oh, it's a horsey. Oh. Oh. So the guy's not even evil. He's just getting lured in with her. Okay. I think we can work something out.
It says there's other fellers. It says it right.
That there's a bounty hunter. Get him!
Eliane, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make you go with the fella.
Oh. Oh shit. Fucking where's my rope?
What kind of man are you?
I'm so sorry.
Keep still.
I'm so sorry, guy.
Now come here.
Rot in hell. Rot with the rest of them.
Oh no. Oh fuck. I really, oh god damn it. I feel so bad. Had I been quicker to take my damn lasso out, poor guy would probably still be alive.
What's in here?
Well, I'm doing this one out of respect. I'm gonna put him in the fire to sort of cremate him. I know it wasn't the most popular thing to do back in the day, but it's kind of the best I can do. I'm not trying to take coffee. Goddamn game. Damn it. There.
Don't you manhandle me.
Well, the guy didn't catch fire, but I tried. I feel too bad. I'm gonna reload. I just want to make sure. 31, okay. This may have been before we encountered her. If so, that'd be so great for the game to have saved right before then. 'Cause I just feel so bad for that guy. It's like he didn't know what he was getting into. Damn women. Always here to screw up guys' lives. Oh, sweet. Shit.
They're saying you were Black Widow.
Why nothing of the kind?
That means you killed your sweethearts.
Where do they get such nonsense? You're my sweetheart. Now come over here.
Get her ass.
That there's a bounty hunter. Get him.
Eliane, I'm
Oh shit.
You're a piece of work. Now come here.
Rot in hell. Rot with the rest of them.
Come on, guy.
You made me an outlaw too, woman.
I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him for shooting me.
I'm sorry, Eliane. You go with him.
Mind if I check your
Turn
pockets?
yourself in, Missy.
He'll be able to get out. I'm pretty sure the game gives him a few minutes of laying around before they can get out of their lasso.
Get on there. Come on, girl. One more time. Settle in. You got a ride ahead of you.
Oh dear. What came over me?
Oh god.
Did I just do those things? It's a horrible blur. But I see blood. There's blood everywhere. It won't come out. I'm not like that. I'm a good girl. Really. I promise I am. You believe me, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you, mister?
I thought there was a way you can like hit people to shut them up.
I need help, okay?
Oh, I
I
can.
have an illness. A fever of the brain. I've done bad things, but a jail ain't where I belong. A sanatorium, maybe. Get me help, mister. Please?
Quiet with that.
I'm glad Rockstar does some gender equality when it comes to doing that.
You're such a strong man.
Oh my.
So tough and burly. Maybe if I had a strong man.
This the help you're looking for?
I hate you, you sad sack of shit. I wish I'd cut you.
I ain't falling for it.
Oh, I think I just knocked her out. I did. Her head's all wobbling around. Hey, and we're at 2 hours. I'll turn in this bounty and then we'll call it a night. I can't wait too, because after the stream I got a little box of sweets. I'm gonna pour me a cup of milk and go to town.
You got a problem or something?
What's your problem here?
Out of the way, I got a killer on my horse.
Up on the jailhouse. Anything else you want to try on me?
Just get me there. You're no fun at all.
Afraid I ain't.
Done for now, you idiot.
You order a lady killer here, Sheriff?
Yeah, we did. Put her in the cell, won't you?
I protest my innocence. I protest my innocence.
I met her new sweetheart up by the falls. Feller was lucky not to end up like her husband.
If he was any kind of man, I wouldn't be here.
Men just got a habit of dying around you, don't they, Mrs. Swan?
Well, I hope you're comfortable, miss.
She'll be fine. Now come get your money off the desk here.
Heck yeah.
The Black Widow herself. This town's so starved of women, I'm sure she could find herself a husband yet.
That's cowboys for you.
Indeed. So, it seems this town's got more pressing problems than outlaws. Gonna take some time off posting bounties, impose law and order on the streets.
That man has a heart of stone. It's silly to keep me locked up in here. I mean...
Now I gotta save though. Cause I'm about to do some illegal business to her. I just want to see what the sheriff does.
What am I gonna do? Just little old me. Let me out to exercise a little.
I'm immune to your charms, Mrs. Swan.
It's so boring in here. Can we have some fun, Sheriff?
We sure can.
The two of us.
And to think you was sniffing around this office at one point. I'm lucky you was charmed.
Oh, I can't kill her. Oh shit.
Damn it!
Can I... Do I not have like explosives? Oh, it's my horsey.
Go get him, damn it! That's the man. I'd be judge, jury, and executioner. Think about who you're messing with. All right, let's move in on him.
Oh god. Guys going towards the cemetery.
We lost the bastard.
Can you really not can you like really hide while in the center of the action? And then just not find you? Like, is that possible? Guess I can try to get out of here.
Oh my god.
Ow. Damn, those guys went far.
No! Holy hell! Fly me! Oh, fire. Help me! I need help here!
Doggy.
No, no, no!
Oh, they got guys on horses. They're still going the completely wrong direction. Oh shit. Oh, nice.
Give me your money. I'll try that again. The money, please.
Just take it. Workers' wages. Please help me. Get the law over here.
Now ain't this a predicament?
What the hell? Can somebody help me? Help!
Wish I had some good news for you.
Hey, look, I'll keep quiet.
A kidnapping? Oh shit. Oh shit.
Need a lawman over here now.
Get over here.
Where were you going? I'm getting sick of asking.
I don't deserve this.
I think we can agree that's a yes. Now have a rest.
Uh-oh. Oh, I think I was already wearing a mask. Cool. Unknown suspect. Nice. So maybe if I just start walking around like it's like nothing, I might be able to get away with it. I've seen videos where some people can get away with this, mostly in Saint Denis, because there's lots of corners. But out here, it's a lot harder. Just gotta act super casual. Like I did just blow a guy's brains out. I still kind of want to go buy them. Just to see. Make sure I'm not wearing a mask. Oh, is that a kitty? He's a kitty.
Hello, mister. All right.
Wow.
Hey there, miss.
How's it going, tough guy?
Let's go. I got places to be.
Where's the bar? Gotta start some shit there. Oh, but it is nice to... I want to try to start some shit with the mask again and just see if I can walk right past an officer.
Give one of these ribs, just watch him.
Don't get so head up.
Hey, do yourself a favor and get someplace else fast.
Oh, look at that then. So as long like you can talk to them, but they tell you to like get out of there.
For trying my patience.
Come on, ladies. This sirloin will put a smile on your man's face. Guarantee.
Oh, piggies. Oh my god. Oh my god. Animal cruelty.
Arrest him, lawman.
You crazy?
Damnation. All right, we'll sort this out. Stay away.
Unknown suspect. So somebody just saw me kick a fucking pig right in the face. Oh, I think this room has like a secret background in it. Yeah, you can see something in there, and you have to put a gun up to the vendor. I think I saw a video on how to get in there.
Hell, I got nothing but nothing here.
Yeah, you can't go in there.
Who's there?
Go on and investigate.
Hey. Hey now. Let me get a look at you. It ain't that bad, okay? You.
Oh shit!
You. What the hell?
What the hell? Where did he come from? Guy fell from heaven.
Push in on him.
Oh my god. Just people trying to enjoy their night. in a bar. Oh my god. That's so funny.
You're surrounded.
No way, I shot him in the head. Kind of hide in the bushes and hope that they just pass by me. Oh shit, here they come. Oh fuck, they're actually doing an on-foot search. It looks like they're checking the bar.
Oh my god.
Think I might be able to get out of this scot-free. Until I fall off a mountain. You see how many people I just killed? I went on an absolute massacre with almost a $500 bounty. And I was still just able to get away without the chase being too hard. I like that. Oh god, that was funny. That was fun and funny. Oh Jesus, that was awesome. Alright, so I'll go ahead and call it a night here, folks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the gameplay as well as Summoning Salt's YouTube video. Like I said, definitely check out his channel. I got the link to this video that we watched throughout the stream. I have that linked in the description. Definitely check it out. Check out the other ones. I've watched many of the history of speedrun videos of his, and none of them ever fail, even for games that don't really interest me too much. I've wanted to check them out. So yeah, definitely check that out. Like I said, because of watching that, I kind of want to speedrun a game myself. Just get a timer widget and just see how long it takes me to finish whatever game I choose. But other than that, that's really all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all on the next stream. See you later.
If you enjoyed the video,
My bad, I accidentally clicked on Summoning Salt's video. Alright, now we're out of here.